When was the last time she touched you with real desire? Last week? Last month? Or has it been so long you can't even remember anymore? That's the slow death most men never see coming. It's not a blow-up fight or an affair. It's lying next to the woman you love while knowing, deep down, she's already left you emotionally, mentally, sexually. She's still in your bed, but her fire is gone. No yelling, no drama, just distance. A body that shifts away. A sigh into the pillow. Sweatpants instead of skin. Another night of nothing. And here's the brutal twist. She still believes she's the prize. In her mind, she's the same woman you once chased like your life depended on it. The same woman men would line up to win. But for you, she no longer shows up. And the truth you don't want to face is this. It's not life, not kids, not stress. It's the death of polarity, the slow collapse of attraction. Worse, it's a death you've quietly participated in. Because every night you accept rejection, every time you settle for scraps of affection, you're teaching her one lesson, that your desire doesn't matter and her effort isn't required. That lesson is killing your marriage, but it can be reversed. Stay with me, because what I'm about to show you will explain why she stopped desiring you and exactly how to flip the script before it's too late. You probably think you're being patient. You think you're being understanding. You tell yourself, this is what a good husband does. Stay calm. Don't pressure her. Don't complain. Don't make things worse. But patience isn't what you're practicing. You're not showing love. You're showing her how little she has to give to keep you. Every time you roll over in silence after she rejects you, you're teaching her. Every time you swallow your frustration instead of setting a standard, you're programming her. Not patience, but programming. Not kindness, but conditioning. And the lesson she's learning? That intimacy is optional. That effort is unnecessary. That you'll stay no matter how little she invests. Think about it. When a dog begs for scraps at the table and the owner finally caves, what happens? The begging never stops. It gets worse. Why? Because the behavior was rewarded. You are doing the same thing in your marriage. You reward her neglect with loyalty. You reward her indifference with commitment. You reward her lack of desire with your constant presence. So why would she change? Why would she put effort into attraction when you've shown her that effort isn't required? You've made it clear that she can treat you like furniture and still keep every benefit of having a husband: security, status, provision, loyalty. She gets it all, whether she shows up for you or not. This is the silent training most men never realize they're running. And the longer it goes on, the more permanent it becomes. She doesn't just stop desiring you. She forgets how to even see you as desirable. And here's the dangerous loop you're trapped in. The less she gives, the more invisible you feel. The more invisible you feel, the quieter you get. And the quieter you get, the more she learns she can give even less. Round and round, until one day you wake up in the same bed, but in two completely different lives. The real question is, are you ready to break that loop? Or are you going to keep training her to forget the man she once wanted? Here's where it gets worse. While you're busy tolerating neglect, she's living inside a fantasy bubble. In her mind, she's still the 25-year-old who could walk into any room and have men tripping over themselves. She believes she's still the prize, still untouchable, still someone you should be grateful just to stand beside. But here's the twist. It's not value, it's validation. Not real options, but empty attention. A smile from a coworker, a friendly word from her trainer, a flood of likes on Instagram. She takes all of it as proof that she still has it. She confuses monopoly money with real cash. She feels rich, but the wallet is full of paper that buys nothing. And you've seen it. Watch how she lights up when a stranger pays her a compliment. Look at how much effort she puts into getting ready for a night out with her girlfriends. Compare that to what she gives you at home. Sweatpants, messy bun, phone in hand. It's not that she stopped caring about herself. It's that she stopped competing for you because she thinks she doesn't have to. In her world, your loyalty is permanent. Your presence is guaranteed. You'll stay no matter what, so why bother? She's chasing the validation of men who would never sacrifice for her, while neglecting the one man who already has. And that's the cruel delusion. She mistakes attention for value. She mistakes polite smiles for attraction. She mistakes meaningless signals for real choices. And every day she indulges that lie, she becomes more entitled, more complacent, and more blind to what she's actually risking. So here's the open wound. If she had to win you again today, with the same effort she's giving right now, would she stand a chance? Or would you see her exactly for what she's become? Here's the brutal shift most men don't see coming. In the beginning, you were her obsession. She dressed to impress. She laughed at your jokes. She leaned in close because she wanted to be chosen. You were her prize to win. But fast forward a few years, and what are you now? Not her lover, not her fantasy, just furniture. You're the couch she crashes on, the fridge that never empties, the paycheck that never stops. And don't get it twisted. This isn't about comfort. It's about complacency. Not presence, but performance. Not security, but neglect. She stopped trying, not because she can't, but because you let her. She stopped chasing, not because she lost desire, but because you never required it. Think about the difference. Strangers get her sparkle. Work events get her best dress. Nights out with her friends get the version of her that looks alive. But you get the leftovers. Sweatpants, silence, a body that shares space but not passion. That's not love, it's entitlement. She thinks just existing in your house is enough contribution. She believes her mere presence should be enough to keep your devotion. And the longer you accept this, the deeper the lie gets. Because when there are no consequences, there is no effort. And when there is no effort, desire dies. Slowly, quietly, until you wake up one day realizing she no longer sees you as a man, but as an obligation. And here's the haunting question. When did you stop being her lover and start being her furniture? And more importantly, are you willing to keep living as something she sits on instead of someone she craves? Pay attention to where her energy goes, because it's not coming to you. Look at her when she's getting ready for a girls' night out. Makeup perfect. Hair on point. Outfit chosen with care. She looks alive again. She looks like the woman you once chased. Now compare that to what you see at home. Messy bun, stretched out sweatpants, face buried in her phone. No effort, no spark. No attempt to be attractive for the one man who actually committed to her. And here's the cruel twist. It's not that she stopped caring. It's that she stopped competing. Not lack of energy, but lack of urgency. Not that she can't, but that she doesn't think she has to. Strangers get her laughter. Co-workers get her charm. The world outside gets her best presentation. But you, the man who gives her everything, get the bare minimum. Why? Because in her mind, the game is over. She already won. You are locked in, permanent, guaranteed. But marriage isn't a victory lap. It's not one big trophy she gets to hold forever. It's an ongoing game where complacency kills desire. And the minute she thinks she doesn't need to impress you anymore, the polarity collapses. The truth is simple. Effort doesn't die. It just shifts. She still knows how to attract, how to sparkle, how to put in work. She just doesn't do it for you. And that should terrify you more than any fight ever could. So here's the question you need to face. If strangers deserve her best, why don't you? And what happens when you finally stop rewarding her worst? There's a brutal truth most wives never learn. But in environments where results matter, whether it's business, sports, or any service job, people know one thing. If you stop delivering, you lose. If you give minimum effort, you get minimum reward. In those worlds, attraction and value aren't guaranteed. They have to be earned every single time. Now compare that to your marriage. She can neglect you, withdraw from you, ignore your needs, and you stay. She gives nothing and still collects everything. Loyalty, security, provision, status. No consequences, no risk, no reason to change. And here's the twist. It's not love that keeps desire alive. It's consequences. Not feelings, but feedback. Not comfort, but accountability. In real life, intentions mean nothing without action. If you stop performing at work, you get fired. If you stop training in sports, you lose. Your wife doesn't live by those rules because you never enforce them. You've built a consequence-free environment where she gets maximum benefit for minimum investment. Think about what that does over time. Every neglected night, every rejected touch, every quiet tolerance, you're training her to believe that neglect is acceptable. That you'll provide husband benefits even when she gives you roommate effort. And human nature responds to reinforcement. Whatever gets rewarded, gets repeated. So ask yourself, what exactly have you been rewarding? Her effort or her absence? Her passion or her neglect? And if she never feels the cost of giving you less, why would she ever give you more? If this is hitting home, don't leave. Because what I'm about to show you isn't just why she stopped desiring you. It's how to flip the script. Stay with me. This next part could save your relationship. Good men think they're saving their marriage by being patient, by being kind, by being endlessly understanding. But here's the reality. Your goodness is killing her desire. Every time you swallow your frustration, she loses respect. Every time you accept rejection with silence, her attraction dies a little more. And every time you stay loyal while she gives you the bare minimum, you teach her one dangerous lesson. Your needs don't matter. And that's the trap. You think you're showing love, but you're showing weakness. Not kindness, but cowardice. Not patience, but passivity. And women don't feel desire for men they secretly pity. They feel contempt. Quiet, unconscious contempt that poisons attraction faster than any physical change ever could. Masculine energy isn't about domination. It's about presence, about standards, about the strength that creates security. But when you withdraw that energy, when you stop leading, when you let her set the frame, she fills the void with her own masculine energy. And masculine women don't crave passive men. They tolerate them until tolerance turns into resentment. This is why your marriage feels dead. Not because she aged, not because you stopped loving her, but because you abandoned the very role that made her fall for you in the first place. So here's the haunting question. When did you stop being her man and start being her safety net? And how much longer are you willing to live invisible in your own home before you reclaim the frame she's been waiting for? Here's the truth most men never hear. Female desire doesn't just fade with time. It shifts. It moves from automatic to responsive. In the beginning, the mystery and novelty created the spark without effort. But in long-term relationships, desire doesn't appear out of thin air. It has to be built. It has to be triggered. And that's where polarity comes in. Attraction lives in the tension between masculine and feminine energy. When you hold the frame, she relaxes into her femininity. When you collapse, she hardens, and polarity dies. This is why she doesn't feel desire anymore. Not because she stopped loving you, but because she stopped feeling you as a man. Not automatic desire, but engineered polarity. Not magic, but choice. Think about it. How often do you wait for her to feel in the mood? How many times have you held back because you were tired of rejection? Both of you sit there, waiting for the other to ignite what neither of you is creating. And in that stalemate, passion withers. But polarity can be reset. Not with begging, not with pressure, with presence, with standards, with energy that reminds her you're not a guarantee, you're a man she has to choose again. The longer you wait for her to change on her own, the worse this spiral gets. Because she won't. She can't. Female desire doesn't generate in comfort. It grows in contrast. So here's the loop. If you want her to respond like a lover again, you need to stop showing up like a roommate. The question is, are you willing to create the tension she secretly craves, or will you keep waiting for a spark that never comes back on its own? Here's the mistake you've been making. You think words will fix this. That if you explain enough, complain enough, reason enough, she'll suddenly wake up and remember the man she married. But words don't change behavior. Consequences do. Not threats, but standards. Not anger, but boundaries. Not manipulation, but reality. Think about it. If she rejects intimacy and you still cuddle her like nothing happened, what lesson did you just teach? If she treats you dismissively and you stay glued to her side, what did you just reinforce? Every time you reward neglect with attention, you're writing the rules of your own destruction. And here's the truth. She doesn't even realize what she's doing. Why? Because you've never let her feel the cost. You've created an environment where she can ignore your needs indefinitely without ever experiencing loss. She gets your full commitment while giving partial effort. That imbalance is why she no longer feels urgency to desire you. Human beings change when reality changes. Fire burns because pain teaches you not to touch it again. Relationships work the same way. When she feels the absence of your energy, she starts to value it again. When she experiences the gap left by your presence, she remembers it wasn't guaranteed. So stop talking. Start acting. Withdraw energy where there's neglect. Redirect effort where there's appreciation. Let the natural consequences speak louder than your words ever could. The real question is this: will you finally enforce the cost of neglect? Or will you keep subsidizing the very behavior that's killing her desire for you? Here's the hardest truth you've been avoiding. Marriage isn't permanent. It's renewable. Every single day. And if no effort is made, the contract quietly expires. But she doesn't see it that way. She thinks the ring locked you down for life. She believes vows equal permanence. She assumes your loyalty is automatic, no matter how little she gives. Not permanence, but renewal. Not guarantee, but choice. That's why she coasts. That's why she lets herself slip into neglect. In her mind, nothing is at risk. She can stop trying, and you'll still be there. She can treat you like background noise, and you'll still pay the bills. She can ignore your needs for months, and you'll still wear the label of husband. But here's the reality check. If she had to win you again today, with the same effort she's giving right now, would she even stand a chance? Or would she be exposed for the complacency she's been living in? This is the delusion most wives never face until it's too late. They mistake being chosen once for being choosable forever. They forget that men with options don't stay where they're invisible. And this leads to the real loop. The moment she realizes you're not permanent, that you are a choice, everything shifts. The question is, will she realize it before you're gone? Or only when your absence finally teaches her the value of your presence? But awareness alone isn't enough. If you walk away from this message, nodding your head but doing nothing, nothing changes. You need a plan. A concrete, step-by-step plan you can start tonight. Day 1. You focus on yourself. Hit the gym, eat clean, go to bed early. If rejection has been constant, sleep in a separate room, not in anger, but to reset your emotional balance. Day 2. Schedule a 15-minute talk. Use the CNCH framework: feelings, needs, standards, consequences. Calm, clear, direct. Days 3 through 5. Rebuild attraction. Get a haircut, upgrade your wardrobe, plan a date night. No phones, just you and her. Day 6. Audit your behavior. Stop rewarding rejection with affection. If she turns you down, don't cuddle her after. Stay polite, stay warm, but let your actions match reality. Day 7. Review progress. If nothing has shifted, set the next milestone. Book a couples therapy session within 14 days. Not as a threat, but as a standard. And here are 3 sentences you can actually use. I need mutual intimacy. X times a week. When you're not ready tonight, I respect that. But I'll sleep in the other room, and tomorrow morning we'll talk for 15 minutes. Or, this Friday I'm planning a date night. I want you to be present with me. No phone, just us for 2 hours. Or, if we see no progress in 30 days, I'm setting a standard. We meet a therapist together. I value us too much to ignore this. These aren't threats. They're standards. They're boundaries. They're the difference between begging for scraps and leading with clarity. Because without a real plan, you'll slide back into silence, and silence is the slowest death a marriage can suffer. You don't save your marriage by begging for scraps of affection or by waiting for her to suddenly remember the man she married. You save it by refusing to live invisible, by reclaiming your standards, by becoming once again the man she has to choose, not the guarantee she takes for granted. Not leaving her, but leaving neglect behind. Not punishing her, but respecting yourself. Not threats, but truth, because the moment she feels your energy shift, everything changes. The man she thought was permanent becomes the man she could lose. And loss has a way of reigniting desire faster than any words ever could. This is your turning point. When you stop rewarding her worst, she remembers why she fought for your best. When you live like your presence is a choice, not an obligation, she rediscovers the man she once couldn't resist. The resurrection of desire doesn't start with her. It starts with you, with your self-respect, with your refusal to die quietly in a marriage that treats you like a ghost. So here's your decision. Keep being her safe option, or reclaim the role of the man she can't ignore. If this hit you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with another man who needs this wake-up call. Like this video. Subscribe for more. The conversation starts here, but the change starts with you.